Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I would like to take the opportunity to do something a little different and answer some of my viewers' questions. Had questions relating several things: the use of our sirens and lights on the truck, the red and blue lights, the weight of our trucks, and how we license them. And I'd like to take some time today to address those issues. First of all, let me state that I am not a lawyer. This is strictly my opinion and the way I understand the laws based upon the Missouri revised statutes that I'm about to read you parts of. In Missouri, they're available online for anybody to read, and I will give you the section numbers so you can look it up yourself. My suggestion to any operator, towing and recovery, is do your own research, because ultimately it is your responsibility for the safe and legal operation of the vehicle that you operate every day. Don't take my word for it. I accept no liability for the way you operate your vehicle. I can only accept responsibility for the way I operate mine. And I have taken a lot of time to educate myself, and part of that is going to be shown to you today. We'll start with some basic definitions as defined by the state of Missouri in their revised statutes. The first definitions are in section 301.010.1. They have the definition number 48, rollback or cart carrier: any vehicle specifically designed to transport wrecked, disabled, or otherwise inoperable vehicles when the transportation is directly connected to a wrecker or towing service. Pretty self-explanatory. Number 68 under the definitions: wrecker or tow truck: any emergency commercial vehicle equipped, designed, and used to assist or render aid and transport or tow disabled or wrecked vehicles from a highway, road, street, or highway rights-of-way to a point of storage or repair, including towing a replacement vehicle to replace a disabled or wrecked vehicle. Definition number 69, wrecker or towing service: the act of transporting, towing, or recovering with a wrecker, tow truck, rollback, or car carrier any vehicle not owned by the operator of the wrecker, tow truck, rollback, or car carrier for which the operator directly or indirectly receives compensation or other personal gain. Okay. There's further definitions on section 304.153.1 right here. Subsection 6, tow truck: a rollback or car carrier, wrecker, or tow truck as defined under section 301.010, which is what I just read you. Number 7, towing: moving or removing, or the preparation thereof, therefore, of a vehicle by another vehicle for which a service charge is made, either directly or indirectly, including any dues or other charges of clubs or associations which provide towing services. Number 8, definition of a towing company: any person, partnership, corporation, fiduciary, association, or other entity that operates a wrecker or towing service as defined under section 301.010. Again, I just read to you. The next section, however, refers to a special law that we have in Missouri, and I understand not all states are like this. Subsection 5, any towing company or tow truck arriving at the scene of an accident that has not been called by a patrol officer, a law enforcement officer, a Missouri Department of Transportation employee, the driver or owner of the motor vehicle, or his or her authorized agent, including a motor club of which the driver or owner is a member, shall be prohibited from towing the vehicle from the scene of the accident unless the towing company or tow truck operator is rendering emergency aid in the interest of public safety, or is operating during a declared state of emergency under section 44.100. Section 6, a tow truck operator that stops and tows a vehicle from the scene of an accident in violation of subsection 5, which is what I just read, of this section shall be guilty of a Class D misdemeanor upon conviction or pleading guilty for the first violation, and such tow truck shall be subject to impounding. The penalty for a second violation shall be a Class A misdemeanor, and the penalty for any third or subsequent violation shall be a Class D felony. A violation of this section shall not preclude the tow truck operator from being charged with tampering under Section 569. Locally, we call this scanner poaching. Basically, people listening to the scanner, they run as fast as they can to the accident scene. They think they're going to get there and get the job. That's not the way the state of Missouri works. If you're not called, you don't get the job. I understand that some states, some areas, that's the way it works. You're the first person on scene, you get the job. Me personally, I like it the way we have it set up here. I don't think it's good business practice to be racing to the scene of an accident and have 10 different towing companies there fighting over a job. I just don't think it projects a professional image of our industry. I like the way Missouri has it set up much better. All right. I've also been asked about the weight ratings and weight classifications of our tow trucks. Specifically, I've been asked about our single axle, which is a Peterbilt 337 with a Century 4024 20-ton towing and recovery body on it, which is licensed GVW 24,000 pounds. And I'll read to you from section 301.070.1, computation of fees and licensing. Section 4, fees of commercial motor vehicles other than passenger carrying commercial motor vehicles shall be based on the gross weight of the vehicle or any combination of vehicles and the maximum load to be carried at any one time during the license period, except the fee for a wrecker, tow truck, rollback, or car carrier used in a towing service shall be based on the empty weight of such vehicle, fully equipped for the recovery or towing of vehicles. Okay, so my interpretation of that is when our truck is fully outfitted with chains, straps, tow forks, fully fueled, we weigh the truck, and that is what it's licensed for. It's not licensed like a standard commercial motor vehicle where you have to license it for 80,000 pounds because that's what the maximum that you're going to be allowed to pull. Which leads me into the next section, section 304.174.1. That's part of the reason I believe, again my opinion only, why they gave this definition and exempted the towing and recovery industry in Missouri. Because the next one, 304.174, the provisions of section 304.170 to 304.240 relating to height, width, weight, length, and load restrictions for motor vehicles shall not apply to any wrecker or tow truck performing a wrecker or towing service as defined in section 301.010, which is the first section that I read to you. If a disabled or wrecked vehicle cannot be moved by a wrecker or tow truck, a rollback or car carrier, as defined in section 301.010, the first section I read, may be used without regard to such height, width, weight, length, and load restrictions, if it is a bona fide wrecker operator or owner. So basically what that means is what I told you before. In Missouri, we are able to license our vehicles for the weight of the vehicle, not what its maximum capacity is, the weight of the vehicle as it sits, because we are exempt from height, weight, length restrictions in the state of Missouri. Now, if we go out of state, that does not apply. We have to be legal just as any other commercial motor vehicle on the highways. We go into Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, we have to be legal weight-wise, gross weight, axle weight, length, everything. This is only as it applies to the state of Missouri. All right, on to one of the real reasons that I wanted to make this video. Section 304.022.1. This section is basically Missouri's slow down, move over law, and explains how we are able to, as towing and recovery operators, to run red and blue lights and sirens on our trucks. The first part I'll read to you is basically our slow down, move over. 304.022.1. Upon the immediate approach of an emergency vehicle giving audible signal by siren, or while having at least one lighted lamp exhibiting red light visible under normal atmospheric conditions from a distance of 500 feet to the front of such vehicle, or a flashing blue light authorized by section 307.175, which is normally firemen, the driver of every other vehicle shall yield the right-of-way and shall immediately drive to a position parallel to and as far as possible to the right of the traveled portion of the highway, and thereupon stop and remain in such a position until such emergency vehicle has passed, except when otherwise directed by a police or traffic officer. Section 2. Upon approaching a stationary emergency vehicle displaying lighted red or red and blue lights, or a stationary vehicle owned by the State Highways and Transportation Commission and operated by an authorized employee of the Department of Transportation, or a stationary vehicle owned by a contractor or subcontractor performing work for the Department of Transportation displaying lighted amber or amber and white lights, the driver of every motor vehicle shall 1. Proceed with caution and yield the right-of-way, if possible, with due regard to safety and traffic conditions, by making a lane change into a lane not adjacent to that of the stationary vehicle. If on a roadway having at least 4 lanes, with not less than 2 lanes proceeding in the same direction as the approaching vehicle, or 2. Proceed with due caution and reduce the speed of the vehicle, maintaining a safe speed for road conditions if changing lanes would be unsafe or impossible. It's basically the legal wording of our slow down, move over laws. Now, the reason I wanted to read that to you is because in the state of Missouri, tow trucks, wreckers, rollbacks are considered emergency vehicles. That's what I'm going to read to you now. Section 4. An emergency vehicle is a vehicle of any of the following types. Subsection 1. A vehicle operated by the State Highway Patrol, obviously, the State Water Patrol, the Missouri Capitol Police, a conservation agent, or a state park ranger. Those vehicles operated by enforcement personnel of the State Highways and Transportation Commission, police or fire department, sheriff, constable, or deputy sheriff, federal law enforcement officer authorized to carry firearms and to make arrests for violations of the laws of the United States, traffic officer or coroner, or by privately owned emergency vehicle company. Section 2, subsection 2. A vehicle operated by or operated as an ambulance or operated commercially for the purpose of transporting emergency medical supplies or organs. Subsection 3. Any vehicle qualifying as an emergency vehicle pursuant to section 307.175. Subsection 4. Any wrecker or tow truck or a vehicle owned and operated by a public utility or public service corporation while performing emergency service. Section 4 states that we are emergency vehicles in the state of Missouri, as I understand it. Section 5. Any vehicle transporting equipment designed to extricate human beings from the wreckage of a motor vehicle. Subsection 6. Any vehicle designated to perform emergency functions for a civil defense or emergency management agency established pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 44. Okay, from here I'm going to move on down to Section 5, Subsection 1. The driver of any vehicle referred to in Subsection 4 of this section shall not sound the siren thereon, or have the front red lights or blue lights on except when such vehicle is responding to an emergency call. Subsection 2. The driver of an emergency vehicle may A. Park or stand irrespective of the provisions of sections 304.014 to 304.025. B. Proceed past a red or stop signal or stop sign, but only after slowing down as may be necessary for safe operation. C. Exceed the prima facie speed limit so long as the driver does not endanger life or property. D. Disregard regulations governing direction of movement or turning in specified directions. Subsection 3. The exemptions granted to an emergency vehicle pursuant to subdivision 2 of this subsection shall apply only when the driver of any such vehicle, while in motion, sounds audible signal by bell, siren, or exhaust whistle as may be reasonably necessary, and when the vehicle is equipped with at least one lighted lamp displaying a red light or blue light visible under normal atmospheric conditions from a distance of 500 feet to the front of such vehicle. Okay, that wording is taken directly from the Missouri State website, Missouri Revised Statutes. As I interpret that, we in Missouri, tow truck operators, tow trucks, rollbacks, are considered emergency vehicles, and we are allowed to run sirens and red and blue lights. Now, you need to check the local and county levels, because there may be certain areas of Missouri that are not allowed to run those. The state, however, says that we can. Again, it is your responsibility as the operator. Now, we cannot run the red and blue lights and sirens all the time. We can only do it when responding to a bona fide emergency. Bona fide emergency normally means when a police agency or the fire agency, normally the police agencies are the ones that call and dispatch us, but they tell us to expedite because of either lane closures, danger to other motorists, danger to personnel, emergency situations, entrapment, people entrapped. There's a number of reasons that they may ask us to hurry, and that gives us the authorization to run the sirens and red and blue lights. Again, I am not a lawyer. I do not accept liability for anybody else's actions or interpretations of the law. This is only my opinion and my interpretation. I hope I've answered some of my viewers' questions. I know some of it was a lot of legal jargon, but that needed to be said to help understand and define the way I understand everything. So I hope this has been informative and educational, and I hope you use it as such. Please, as I've said before, educate yourself. It is your responsibility, no one else's. It is your responsibility to operate your truck legally and responsibly and safely. As always, thank you for watching, and God bless.